Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have both really good news and really fun news to go talk about, and also some really bad news as well. Now, I'm sure you guys have actually seen, and thank God it did finally go and happen. We finally had our target PlayStation 5 restock that happened as of today. Now, as you guys probably saw throughout these past few videos, we were a little bit more on the skeptical side. 100% wasn't sure if there was going to be a drop, although we knew the stock was there. We did see, if you guys saw our video last night, we talked about the API. If you saw a video this early morning, I was like, hey, be on the lookout just for the next few hours or so, and we kind of were on the pretty big target watch. Now, for me, when it comes to stock and stock in general, it was like a 50-50, because we also were seeing some stock arriving maybe for next week too, which also may have just been maybe the restock, or maybe even prepping up for a walk-in, or just prepping up for the next possible restock. We'll have to go and see, but now that we've actually had a few hours since the drop, we've had a little bit of kind of issues kind of popping on up, but it kind of stinks because it's usually most like target drops. We have at least a decent amount of this, as well as also not the best stuff. I don't know, it's just not too good. We also had a lot of people getting their consoles too as well, so if you guys were part of either the W squad, got a lot of consoles, or didn't, leave a comment down below and let me know. But we have a lot of stuff to go talk about for this one, so make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 disc digital console controller, Twitter and Twitch room as well, link down below, and sign up for Webull, sign up for Coinbase, deposit $1, get a bunch of free stock, free money, and let's dive in the video itself. So, as I went and covered, as you guys can probably see, we did finally go and have it. And I was kind of hoping, like, even when I made my video, I'm like, can we just please finally get this restock going so I can, we can talk about other stuff and all that stuff. I mean, at least on the bright side, throughout this week, we did actually have a lot of news. Like, I did actually have quite a few videos on it, but obviously, I'd rather have other restocks going on, other chances for restocks, and sometimes it was like a little bit on the half, like weird rehashing information or all that type of stuff. Not the biggest fan of that. I'd rather just be like, yeah, it's dropping tomorrow, and then end all be all with that. But since the restock has happened, we've had a little bit of like the per usual, I would say, for these restocks. We had some good and some bad, where a lot of folks are kind of left disappointed, and we actually had some regions, once again, that were a lot lower than expected. So one of the bigger things out there is that some stores were monstrous. We saw some stores out there, even from the stocks and internal numbers and all that, that were good, solid, like 70, 80 consoles. If you guys saw all of our information, all the other stuff going on throughout the week that we showed, we saw some places with like 60, some places with like 70, some places with like 80 stock, and that's good. I want to see every restock like this for the next like 4 months, and then all of us would probably just go and have our consoles. At the end of the day, it'd probably pretty easy. But the one I think bigger struggle for all this type of stuff is the fact of like, well, it just kind of stinks. Like, it really kind of does, because we also had a lot of people that had canceled issues. We had a lot of people who had stores that had like 8 stock. It just wasn't fun. It's not the funnest thing out there. So let's go talk about it a little bit more in depth. So if you guys got a console, like I said at the start of the video, send me a picture, send me a tweet. I love seeing it. But right now is around the time where a lot of these orders that should have been processed or are processed are kind of coming back bad. And I feel like this happens a lot after most Target restocks, where we are now seeing canceled orders everywhere. So that, on top of the fact that some stores also had way lower stock than expected in certain other regions, and I think a lot of that big region was more so on the West Coast especially, that's where we kind of run into some issues. So as I mentioned, some of the bigger stores actually had some pretty large stock, like we're talking like 70, 80. But apparently when some folks were checking, when it came to like West Coast in general, especially West Coast, some stores were like, even on the second it dropped, the second it restocked, I think it restocked at like 650 a little bit later actually as of this one, it was not good. Like, we were seeing some numbers that were like 4 PlayStation 5 disc editions, like 7, like maybe 9 if you're on the bigger, like for that region side. And we do sometimes think that like Target does a little bit more of a regional side, where it's like East Coast will have a lot more stock, and like Central will have a lot more stock, and like West Coast will have a lot more stock. Kind of like cycles through, which would kind of in theory make sense. But this one on the West Coast, there was basically nothing. Like, even throughout the drop, in terms of a lot of people complaining, and how some stores obviously did have slightly bigger stock, wasn't that good. Really, a lot of the stock really wasn't that good. So that was kind of the big issue. Some people were happy. Like, I actually saw a lot of folks that were like, oh my god, me and my boyfriend, me and my girlfriend, me and my wife, me and my kid both got consoles. And that's kind of good. So maybe it was maybe more on like the scalper or regional dependent, or maybe even border issues, where maybe some regions are just more chill, had bigger stock as we kind of knew, and they kind of just, were chilling. They're kind of vibing. And then, well, for that, Like I said, some regions were just really, really small. We even had some people that were complaining that their stock was sold out within like 30 seconds, like within a minute. And obviously, if you're trying to go and not be a bot and not be like, someone that's, I guess, an actual person with real fingers, it's a little bit harder to go and outdo that when you only have a minute, and by then you have to like click on the link to figure out what you want to buy, put in like your credit card information, PayPal information. Even if it's saved, sometimes you notice the loading of like the page, because a lot of people are on it, kind of gets stalled. So we had a lot of folks that just didn't even have a chance to get their consoles because the stock was like instantly swiped, like just quite literally just instantly gone. And then, as I said, there's also been a lot more canceled orders, and I don't really know how there's always so many after every one of these Target restocks. We just see a lot of stock. Like, we see a lot of stock just getting canceled. Like, people will go and just wait. They'll be happy. It'll be like 7 a.m. They just woke up, or they're taking a power nap and just woke up. Or they're in the West Coast and it's literally 4 a.m. and they could somehow found that one stock within all the other stock that's being botted. And then for some odd reason, Target, like a few hours later, and we've been seeing a lot more of it right now, which is why I'm kind of making this video, of all the canceled orders. And I hate it. Like, I hate it more than this awkward hair growth stage I'm at right now, where I really don't know what I'm still doing with my hair. But when it comes to Target itself, we saw a lot of people now upset. We saw a lot of people now sad because their orders are just getting canceled. It happens, I think, in most of these Target drops because all the stock itself, maybe they oversell, maybe like just your bank or credit card has issues. We do see that quite a bit. But just everything about this just isn't a fun time. Like, no one likes being a part of these drops that are like this because the stock just isn't good. Like, you need some better stock. So it's a little bit of a struggle, in all honesty. So we had a lot of people that were sad. We had a lot of folks that were upset. We had a lot of folks that were sad. And people that were just, we even had some people that show up at Target, like, because they have their email. Like, at this point, it's like it went through the processing. Like, you know, when you usually buy something, they'll have the price, the taxes, the processing, you get the email. So even then, we've even had people that try to show up at Target, and even some people who showed up, like, earlier. They're like, hey, like, my order, it's, like, takes a few hours. Where's my console? And then they're like, sorry, we had a system glitch. Sorry, we had some issues. Sorry, we did this or this. And man, I just feel so bad for those people because especially with how big this drop was in certain regions, I was kind of expecting like everyone watching, like everyone who's aware, everyone who's trying to get their consoles, like everyone out there to go get the hookup. And it kind of makes me a little bit on the sadder side too because, well, it just didn't happen. Like it was just a little bit smaller than we expected for some regions. Now, I think a lot of people in the Midwest and on the East Coast did mostly good. Like I said, if you guys want to comment down below if you guys got it or not. But it is a little bit disappointing because every single time you would think they'd fix it. Every single time you think people would get their consoles. Every single time you think those canceled orders wouldn't go and happen. And at the end of the day, it did really leave a lot of people disappointed. And I think that's one of the saddest things for me is when I have like a mom go and tweet at me and she's super excited, or like a single dad, or even just, someone like my age who's trying to get their console in the first place. And then after all that happens, they send me another text or another tweet or another picture 4 hours later being like, man, I thought it was finally time. Or like, man, Scrubbing, is there anything I could do with this? And that's like, for me, who's been doing this for a while, and like, I just kind of want to be done at this point, get you guys your consoles and like be happy. That hurts me because I don't know. I just don't, it's like you get excited. It's like your friend being like, "Oh my god, we're gonna go out to dinner," or like you're about to go on a date with a cute girl, or like your wife's like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to like go to I don't know on a vacation," and then you show up at the airport and you don't have your passport. So like you're so excited, you're in the groove, you went through all the hard stuff. You already think you paid your plane tickets, or you think you paid like you're gonna think you're going on your hotel. You booked everything. It took you 2 weeks to make sure it's all good, and then you show up at the you're literally there, you're 99% there, and then your passport's expired. Like, I think that's like the perfect like metaphor for all this going on over here. It's rough. But although we did have a lot of bad issues, and I always hate Target for that, we had all the canceled orders, there's lower stock, or some people even waking up, and I think there was just instantly sold out, or just in general. It's lame to see. But at least throughout all this stuff, we actually did see some other folks at least get their consoles. Like, some regions did really good, as I mentioned before. Some stores were really big stock, some places had some really good W's, and a lot of people were pretty happy. But sadly, at the end of the day, it just wasn't that good. It just for some folks, it just wasn't that good, and it kind of makes me sad. So I guess what category were you guys in? Did you guys try to get the console, or were you guys just sleeping on in? I know some people are just like, whatever, it's 4 a.m. I'm not even dealing with that. Who cares? We're also a little bit on the 50-50, as we mentioned too. So let me know. And as well, we also have seen reports of other stocks showing up in other various areas and stuff still like later on throughout this week. So there's always a chance for another drops, and same with the other big retailers too as well. So it's not the end of the world, although I do kind of wish you guys would get your consoles throughout this Target restock. But at least we can stop talking about it. At least we can move on. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller. Twitter and Twitch room as well, link down below, and sign up for Weeble, sign up for Coinbase, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching, and hopefully if you guys didn't get your consoles now, we'll try to get you guys a console in the near future. So we'll kind of go and see how the rest of this weekend kind of goes. We will see some walking stuff going on as well, and I just appreciate you guys all for being here. Love you guys.